As you head from the lush, fertile pastures of the scenic rim in Queensland, over the rugged Great Dividing Range and into New South Wales, you head into country that could only be described as breathtaking. As the elevation climbs, you find yourself in a biodiverse hotspot teeming with life and vegetation, as the wetter drying conditions meet the high rainfall of the east. It's this tropical and temperate overlap in the region, coined by biologists as the Macleay-McPherson overlap, that creates the perfect storm for feral species like goats to thrive. And it's goats we've come for. These crafty critters make full use of the elevation, which means to get the drop on them, a buggy becomes your best friend. On this first morning, Dwayne and I opted to spend some time covering country in an effort to find a strong herd of goats we could come back to later and hunt, or at least eliminate large areas that they weren't using. Now, it might seem counterintuitive, but there are great benefits in spending time scouting out your hunting territories on the first day without a rifle. This takes the pressure off and helps you focus on what is important, understanding how the region works and how you can take advantage of its secrets. You also don't want to blow your hunt by shooting a trophy on your first day. So to make the best use of our time, Dwayne and I split up to cover more territory. Now, some people might think that scouting is as simple as finding a spot and glassing, then after a certain amount of time, moving on to another spot to glass. But it's not that simple. The trick is knowing how long to glass and when not to go in an area so that you don't accidentally flush it of game that won't return for weeks or months. It's a tricky balancing act that requires both patience and attention.
So I've just been making my way up this hill, and there's a game trail down here about halfway up the hill, and then about 30 meters up is the game trail that I'm on here. You can see it runs here. And this is like classic deer behavior in that they don't just go up and over the hill unless there's a dip, like a saddle in it. What they tend to do is contour across it. That's anywhere, that's just what they do. It's just much easier for them. You find these game trails, and it's not uncommon to, see 15, 30 meters up another game trail that runs exactly the same direction, across the face of the mountain. And then you see these things here where you get a bit of cover like this, and it's a bit shaded. The game trail runs through it, and then off to the side over here is an area where deer will bed. Now, you can tell even by the height of that area as to how big the deer are, what species of deer. So for instance, this is an area where fallow would be bedding, or even pigs maybe, or goats, and then making their way along here. And especially in these northern climates where it's really hot, these areas where there's shaded kind of overgrowth along a game trail become really important to the deer for their survival. And you can use that when you're hunting to good effect. Pretty cool though. Constantly find myself when in situations like this, glassing over beautiful valleys, just kind of awe-inspired by the terrain. It's just so interesting. There's so many little interesting nooks and crannies and undulations and little bends and stuff, dead zones where you can't see over that hill, but something could be lurking underneath. There's a real skill to like sitting in a spot and canvassing that entire area and doing so efficiently without, getting frustrated or annoyed. I just love it. I just really enjoy it. So this is what we want to see. Here's some fallow scat. The fact that it's bundled together makes me think that it's a buck, fallow buck. And actually up here you can see as well, there's a larger kind of grouping of that same scat. And what's important is that scat can tell you a lot about the animal, not just its gender, but also the direction that it's heading. So you can imagine that poo builds up in the intestines, and then when the animal's ready to poo, it drops a whole bunch first. Just that happens with all animals, humans, pigs, goats, deer, doesn't really matter. And then what you find then is the smaller bits of scat, the droppings or individual little pellets, then follow afterwards. So you can tell that if an animal has had a large poo here and then smaller poos this way, the animal is heading that way. Pretty cool, right? It's a good little trick you can use. So I think it's time to head back to Dwayne and see if he's done any better on his scouting mission than I have. Hopefully he has. But before I do that, I just want to share a quick story with you, and that is this. I'm a member of the Australian Hunters Club, and it's an amazing hunting community that I want to personally invite you to join. Without their support, this video wouldn't be possible. In fact, I'd invited another member, Jerome, to come on this hunt with me. But unfortunately, he arrived late to the airport, checked in his rifle, checked in his luggage, got all the way to the terminal and realized he's forgotten his keys. So he had to run back to long-term car parking, and by the time he got back to the plane, we'd already taken off. So he missed out on this flight, but you know what? That doesn't matter. It's something that we do regularly as a community, invite other members on our hunts. And I want to personally invite you to join the club, and maybe you can go on a hunt with me or Jerome or anyone else. It's a massive club where nationwide we do other things like organize community hunts and run hunting events and barbecues and all that kind of stuff. We have insurance, and anyone reason to own a firearm. You can win this hunt that I'm on right now. We give away hunts every single month, one, sometimes two hunts. You can get a discount on guided hunts as well on this hunt with Dwayne, or heaps of other hunts offered by outfitters around the country. So it's a great club with a difference that offers more value than most clubs. I want to personally invite you to join. You can check it out at australianhunters.com.au. Hopefully I see you at an event, but now I think it's time that we head back. Let's go.
While I had no luck spotting any goats, Dwayne did. So the next morning we got up bright and early, and with a 308 rifle secured in the front, we took off in the buggy to the area Dwayne last saw the herd. Now, as Robert Burns wrote, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry, and as luck would have it, we didn't even make it to the herd we were travelling to. Instead, on the way, we accidentally bumped a group of goats heading up the mountain, which forced us to act quickly. No time to stalk or check the wind, only act.
Whereabouts is he?
Right in front of us. Underneath the tree, 12 o'clock, there's a couple.
Oh yeah, under the tree. Oh yeah.
They're all going through the fence again.
Yeah, they're in the hollow. Go on the fence.
The hunt was on.
You good? There's a couple. How many did you go for? I know you've got two.
So I just took two shots on two separate goats, and it sounds like Dwayne's calling and saying that I got two different hits, which is good. By the time I got to this fence post, there was only 3 goats left. The herd had kind of moved on around that hollow. There was a juvenile adult, and then there was a nanny with her kid. And the first shot was on juvenile adult, and I got a headshot, and I could see it drop straight away. But the kid was getting in front of the nanny, and I didn't want to hit that kid, so I waited. And right before I took my shot, that nanny sprung behind a tree, and I think I clipped her back leg and wounded her. She's kind of headed off further down the hill, and you know, I can't feel sorry for myself now. There's no point doing that. What I need to do is track her down, see if I can find a blood trail, and follow up with a clean, ethical kill. So let's go do that now. So I just shot this nanny over here, and unfortunately I wounded her. I didn't get an instant kill, and she's wandered off towards here. You can see she's got her kid there, and I don't want to shoot the kid, so I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen, if she's going to move. You can see as well here, there's some other ones. There's a wallaby. And there's some goats at the back as well. Alright, I think we'll make our way over. No, so she's still there. Alright, that dropped her. She's down. There she is. Hey, darling. Whew. So as you can see, looks like my first shot clipped her leg for some reason, and then we finished her off with the next shot. Just a beautiful, beautiful animal. Good size too. Oh man. The amount of animals that pumped out, there's still a herd of goats over here too. So we'll see what happens. I am after a billy, primarily, so it's a harvest for meat, but it's also a harvest for trophies. So if we can get a billy either today or tomorrow, hopefully we can do that.
Sun Tzu famously wrote in The Art of War, "Plan for what is difficult while it is easy. Do what is great while it is small." It's a lesson to live by for those of us seeking to adopt the hunting lifestyle. If you value the life of animals and the food they can bring you and your family, you need to spend the time learning your craft, honing your shooting skills and preparing yourself. It's moments like these that require discipline and skill, when a situation is forced on you and you need to move quickly and decisively. Even with preparation, it doesn't always end this way. The first shot I fired was a headshot on a nanny, resulting in an instant death, while the second shot only wounded the second nanny. But regardless, my preparation paid off and I was quickly able to track the wounded nanny down and kill it cleanly. Now, with half the freezer full, tomorrow we go after the billy. It was Charles Dickens who said, "It is not easy to walk alone in the country without musing upon something." And despite the beauty of the morning and the gentle soothing calls of the cows, I had one thing dominating my thoughts: getting that billy. So once the fog had rolled off the hills, Dwayne and I jumped back in the buggy and set off for the last place where we saw the herd of goats yesterday. Now here's a quick tip for all you city slickers so you don't get caught unaware next time you're hunting on a farm. In the country we have an unwritten rule, sacred and true. Whoever is riding shotgun is responsible for opening and closing gates. So if you catch yourself in a situation where your mate stops the ute in front of a gate and looks at you accusingly after a brief pause, you can't act a fool now, you've been told. Anyway, after driving a ways up the mountain, we parked the buggy to continue on foot so we wouldn't spook the goats.
So what's the plan? We stalking?
So yesterday we made the mistake of getting too close to the spur we were hoping to stalk on foot. This resulted in us prematurely bumping a herd of goats here with the buggy, forcing me to jump out and quickly take some rush shots. Now, luckily I was able to get 2 goats and recover them here in the middle of the spur. Now, on my way to recovering those goats, I noticed that on the opposite northeastern ridge line, there was another herd grazing, unfazed by the shots that I'd just taken. Better again, this herd had some decent billies in it. So today the plan is to park the buggy further back here, stalk quietly on foot across the head of the gully to the top of the opposite spur. Then we'll slowly make our way down the spine to where I hope we can get eyes on the herd that were grazing there yesterday.
Then it's your job to go and work it. Weave your magic through the bush to get in there.
I find that there is something infinitely satisfying about stalking animals, especially the first step in this process, which involves canvassing your hunting grounds in search of your prey, extending your senses into your environment and inevitably finding interesting things along the way. I never feel more alive than I do in this moment. All of your senses are tuned and the slightest change in temperature, the hint of a smell on the breeze, or the soft call of an animal in the distance brings everything into sharp focus. It is intoxicating.
Normally you can hear the goats too. And down there, you can have any of the edges and that.
Yeah.
I said, over here, you just got to find them. We'll go down there across the fence, so those pallets are leaning against each other.
Yeah.
And we'll just pop over just over the edge over here, and we can blast that hole, the whole bottom and around. See what we can find.
Sure enough, once we got a little closer to the edge of the hill, we got our first tease as the wind coming up from the valley brought with it the smell of a goat. Often if you're paying attention, you can smell your prey before you even see them, especially if you're hunting during that animal's peak breeding season. Now, for northern New South Wales does, that is female goats or nannies, ovulation generally occurs between April and August, while Queensland goats can go through that same process between December and May. These variations in breeding seasons are most likely due to the differences in climate, nutrition, and access to good pasture. In fact, if the goats have good access to feed, they can cycle all year round, making breeding unpredictable. But breeding aside, both billies and nannies are smellier than most animals, so we were in luck. We slowed down and a quick glass revealed what looked like the back of a white goat, grazing behind a large bush, unaware of our presence. Now, when there is one goat, there is usually a herd. So now all we had to do was sneak a little closer for a better look without giving ourselves away.
So we've just found two nannies just up here on the hill where we expected them. There's a black one and a little white one, but no sign of a billy yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to feel around here, see if we can glass them for a minute. Looks like they're bedded down, so they shouldn't move. So I've snuck up on these goats up here. I've got two nannies just behind this bush. I've intentionally kept the bush between me and them, and there's a big white billy behind them. So what I'm hoping to do is I'm going to try and sneak around this side of the bush. I need to be really careful because the wind's coming this way, so if I get too close it's going to push my scent straight to them. But that's the best line of sight apart from maybe going to this tree, but I like my odds better if I can get to that bush. So we'll just go slowly and sneak up, and then hopefully I can get a shot. So even before I've been able to get up to this bush, that billy has shifted and he's now right in front of me. He's down. So before we go pick up this billy, I just wanted to stop and say this. This hunt and this video would not be possible without the support of the Australian Hunters Club. It is an amazing hunting club and community that I'm personally a part of, and I want to encourage you to join as well. It's a national club. We have members in every single state of Australia, and like other clubs out there, we offer public hunting liability insurance and your genuine reason to own a firearm. But unlike other clubs, we also offer a heap more value to our members. So for instance, you can go on the draw to win
professionally guided hunts every month, one, sometimes two. And even if you didn't win it, well, we have outfitters all around the country that offer discounts to our members on their professionally guided hunts, so you can go and do that. We also give away hundreds of dollars of hunting products every month. We have social events, we have hunting events. It is an amazing club and community, and it doesn't matter whether you're a greenhorn hunter looking to connect and join a club for the first time, or a veteran hunter who's been involved in many clubs but is looking for extra value. This is a fantastic community that I want to invite you to join. Check it out, australianhunters.com.au. Hopefully I see you at an event, but for now, I'm gonna go get this billy. Let's go.
Now it turns out that while I was setting up for my shot on the white billy, Dwayne was watching a second herd bedded down just over the rise on the other side of the hill that I was completely unaware of. Naturally, after my shot, Dwayne's herd startled and started moving their way down the hill face and into the base of the valley, slowly winding their way towards the top of the opposite hill where I shot those two nannies yesterday. Leading that herd was a massive black billy who consequently dwarfed the size of the white billy I just taken by a large margin. Now, some hunters would beat themselves up about this, driving themselves crazy with the self-doubt and entertaining fantasies of what could have happened or what should have happened. If only I'd risked peeking around that hill closer to the wind, or if only I'd taken more time. But time waits for no man, and I'm someone who's always chosen to celebrate the victories I have, rather than get hung up on the ones that could have been. Now, I love every element of hunting. The planning, the stalk, the shot, the field dressing, but I think the carry out might be my favourite part of all. You see, you can scout the perfect location, outsmart a clever animal, execute a difficult shot, but at the end of the day, nothing will give you more satisfaction and that feeling of having earned the right to take an animal's life than having the physical burden of carrying it out. The heaviness of the animal on your shoulders, the discomfort of it digging into your back, or the burn in your calves as you carry it a few kilometers back to camp, it's all a beautiful and humbling reminder of the cost involved in taking an animal's life. You see, hunting and killing an animal should cost you something. Your time, your attention, your energy. One could even argue that an easy hunt is a missed opportunity for growth, a disservice to the life taken. Now, as I mentioned, this trip was primarily about filling the freezer, and after arriving home, it didn't take long before my kids started hounding me with their goat meal requests. So, it's time to feed these hungry kids with some goat curry. Now, there are a bunch of ways that you can cook goat curry, with each culture doing it slightly differently, but I think my favourite would have to be the Jamaican goat curry. The combination of tender meat with that Jamaican spice leaves you with that warm, content feeling in your stomach, providing a substantial meal without the risk of going overboard. You roughly cut up your goat into large chunks, heat up your oil and stir through your curry powder, browning your meat. Next comes the onion and the chili for extra kick, bit of garlic, coconut milk, diced tomatoes, a few cups of water, and you're on to a winner. Just let it simmer for a couple of hours and then finally add in some generous chunks of potato for the final stretch of cooking. Then, after half an hour, it's done. The best thing about this dish is that it only gets better in the days after you've cooked it. The curry gets thicker and the potatoes softer, soaking up all that goat goodness. It is an absolute winner in my household, and I bet if it's not already, it will be a winner in yours too. History is not merely a thing of the past, but rather a map of our journey through time, painted from a particular viewpoint and fashioned to guide the modern day explorer. Well, today I'm set to explore and hunt an area of Australia brimming with rich history and untamed wilderness, the picturesque wilds of Mount Baw Baw in Victoria's southeast. Gazing across the rolling serene pastures and dense fern-choked forests, the remaining historical remnants that have survived the last 100 years remind us of the brave Australian pioneers who first traversed these lands, hunting for gold, good timber, and elusive Sambar deer. And that's what I'm here for, to hunt Sambar, the largest deer in Australia, often referred to as the ghost of the bush. On this hunt, I'm fortunate enough to have my trusted friend Pete from Baw Baw Adventures by my side, ready to impart his Sambar hunting wisdom. And just like those early settlers in the region, I too have fever visions of striking gold, filling my freezer with venison. Yet, it will be the lessons I learn along the way, the mistakes I make, and the victories I achieve that will ultimately form the history I get to reflect back on. Now, one of the best ways to locate a specific species of deer is to search for the unique vegetation that they prefer to feed on. Or as Pete would paraphrase, find the deer's tucker and you'll find the deer. So, for this first day, Pete has opted to give me a crash course in Sambar grazing habits.
See, that's gone. See, they're not fresh, but...
Yeah. Now that's really distinct there.
Yep. Later in the autumn, these will be, see, they start to shoot a bit here.
Yeah, the little ones, yeah.
Where it's been chewed off there, it's coming back.
And so all of this would have been past seasons of feeding?
Yeah, it would have been during winter. Yeah.
Okay, during winter.
Yeah, and maybe the start of spring.
Yeah, and some of these shoots there again.
And you'll find when it gets smaller, see that one
Up here?
about as thick as your finger there?
Yeah. Oh yeah?
What they'll do, if there's enough sucrose in the tips, I'll turn the head side on, put their mouth over it, and turn the head like that, snap it.
Twist it off.
That comes down, chunk, 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 and they...
Is that what that broken one at the base might have?
Possibly.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah. There's one there that's been broken off. See, in between.
That one right there, yeah.
Yeah, that's been broken off. He's done that. Oh, here it is here.
Yeah.
As you can see. See there, that's where its teeth
It's nibbled.
Yeah, that's where it's gone like that.
Yeah, and then
It chunked and snapped it off there. That's where it comes from there, see?
that's cool.
Well, it's not fresh.
No, but it's a great example.
See there?
Yeah, the new shoot.
That's gone. There, that one.
Yeah.
That's been nipped off. See how soft and succulent that is?
Yeah. Compared to something like
Yeah.
that, which feels a bit drier.
I can go like that and see the juice in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they...
And you can see all the way here. Print.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. You're talking about this here, yeah. And that's the leaf you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah, like that'd be dry. See, it's still soft.
Yeah. Yeah.
With this heat, that'd be dry as...
And that's moving up the hill, right?
No, it's coming down. See there?
Oh, yeah.
See, it's slipped.
Yeah.
That's the dew claws here.
Oh, yeah, those back little nippers, yeah.
That's that digging.
After spending the day soaking in as much of Pete's Sambar knowledge as I could, we then drove back to the camp to prepare for tomorrow morning's hunt. So before we go on our hunt tomorrow, I just wanted to stop and say if you haven't already checked out the Australian Hunters Club, pause the video and go do that now. AustralianHunters.com.au. It's a fantastic club, a club that I'm personally really heavily involved in. I want to invite you to join as well. Each month you can go in the draw to win professionally guided hunts like the hunt I'm on now with Pete from Bor Adventures. You can go in the draw to win hunting products every month as well. You can attend events. We have genuine reason to own a firearm. We've got insurance. You can go on hunts with other members. So for instance, I've got a member, Tegan, coming in 2 days time to hunt with me here in Bor. It's an amazing hunting club and an amazing community, and I want to personally invite you to join. If you're interested in becoming a member, head over to AustralianHunters.com.au and hopefully I'll see you at an event.
Little indicator.
In the darkness of the early morning, everything in the bush is still. But as the sun begins to rise, that tempo subtly shifts. And for the observant hunter, you can catch an animal in this transition. And once you've found your prey, well, then you can set the tempo.
Yeah, I can see the head. See the head here? Yeah, there's the head. Left hand side. Good shot.
She's just run off.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
So I've just taken a shot on a doe, and it looks like it was a neck shot. I didn't really have much to work with. I just had the face looking out, just peeking outside, and I had enough of the neck that I could get a neck shot. And it's not usually a shot that I'd like to take, but it's the only shot I had. And what happened was the deer dropped to the ground and then got up pretty quickly within a couple of seconds. And now it's moved further down across the face of this valley here. So Pete reckons that I've nicked it in the neck but didn't hit the spine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to contour down here, get to a game trail that's a bit lower. Pete's going to try and track the blood from above, and hopefully we can find it. It's a good size hind. Pete calls them does, I call them hinds. So I just heard a honk up here. At least I think it was her. It could be something else. We're kind of not being super quiet right now, so this up there is where I shot it, and it ran this way. So Pete's working his way up there, and I'm going to move this way. So often what you'll find is, once you've wounded a deer, especially a sambar, they'll run uphill. They'll take the hardest path to get away from you, and then what they'll do is eventually when they tire out, they'll find some spot that's kind of protected on either side and from the back, and they'll lay down and they'll face the direction that they think you're coming in, almost as like a final watch, you know, the last stand. And that's often where you'll find them dead. So that's my prediction, but we won't know until we find her. So this game trail just caught my eye that runs off the direction. You can see here the technique where she stumbled, fallen. This is the part of hunting I love, following a blood trail. Man, it's intoxicating, there's something about it. It's at a point like this that you want to make sure you've got another round chambered, just in case you need to finish it, which I probably will. Come on, darling. Where are you? So this is really interesting. We've followed the trail until we've got to this massive pool of blood, which tells me that the deer is tiring. It's starting to lose a bit of energy, and so it's laid here in this spot to kind of recoup, but at the same time there's a lot of blood, so that's a really good sign. That means that while I may not have nicked an artery, there's enough that she's down. I reckon she can't be more than 100 meters from this point, somewhere down here. So we'll go try and find her. Again, you can see here, she's gone over the log. But rather than clear the log like a deer normally would, her belly or her neck is rubbed against it. So she's tiring. I can hear her, she's just over here. I can breathe in. Our lungs must be filling up with blood. So we'll just move real quiet. So while I've been tracking this deer, following its blood trail, and then seeing it spook, it's curled back and circled back and moved back towards Pete. And that gunshot you just heard, I think that was Pete putting it down. I've called out, but he can't hear me, so I'm just gonna move this way. I'm not sure I'll bother following the blood track now, because I reckon he would have got it. Hopefully.
After reuniting with Pete, it became clear that it was his gunshot that I had just heard, but his narrowly missed shot was actually at a completely different stand behind, who I must have snuck past while following the blood trail of my flighty wounded deer. Unwilling to admit defeat and concerned for the well-being of the wounded deer that I'd shot, we both decided to join forces and hike back to where I'd left the blood trail, continuing to track the deer for another 2 hours, up and over the next spur, eventually circling back through the fringe land before the blood trail led to a part of the property we were not allowed to access.
You can't see it, but the property owner's house is there, and one of the conditions for hunting on this property was that we wouldn't go near the house and wouldn't shoot near the house, and that is exactly where this blood is going. So, I mean, we've done all that we can to track this animal as long as we can. And I feel terrible because this is the first animal that I've injured that will probably die that I can't recover, and unfortunately it's out of my control, and that really sucks. But that's the name of it sometimes, that's the way it goes sometimes. And I just gotta keep hunting, gotta keep pushing forward. So frustrating though.
Now, nothing would please me more than to tell you that by some miracle we discovered the deer on our way out, but that's not what happened. I walked away from this hunt with a burden of guilt that I'd wasted a beautiful animal's life and had nothing to show for it. And it's right that I wrestle with that guilt. But at the same time, it's important that we don't fall into the trap of limiting our understanding to only human-centric views. You see, nature doesn't care about our human sensibilities. To say that nature feels anything at all is a false anthropomorphism. Nature is a beautiful and fierce system that impartially rewards both death and life. If a deer dies in the bush without a human harvesting it, another animal will come along and complete the job. Every day, its inhabitants willingly play under its rules in the game of risk and reward, and to think that we're somehow above it with our human thinking or abstract values dangerously fails to appreciate nature's power and influence over us. Later on in that trip, I found myself going over some of Pete's old family documents, revisiting the history of the Baw Baw area. Newspaper clippings from the late 1800s that describe millers and mountain men daringly leap from horseback onto Sambar, subduing them with a knife, or a magazine where you could mail order a .22 Savage for £6 and have it arrive on your doorstep a few months later in a wooden box, ammo included. It's a nice reminder that the lessons we learn, while useful, are subject to the context of the history in which they're learned. What might be viewed as a failure by some, written onto one page of history, could be seen as a victory by others a few chapters on. But musings aside, next time, I'll get my deer. When hunting in a new location, it always pays to have some local knowledge, and thankfully, not only is Dodge a local boy, but he's also a professional hunting guide operating under the name Accurate Hunts. You also might recognise him being one of the hosts of the Endless Pursuits podcast. Geordie's a bit of a fanboy.
You missed your seat, Geordie.
Yeah, I know.
Big enough for it. That one.
Now, another reason to go with the local is because they know where the best food is, and Dodge is no exception. So, before we hunt, we're going to eat.
First day on the job, Chris.
Yes. Thank you.
We're here at the Snake Creek Cattle Company and their on-site cafe for a cheeky pie. Now ask any local, these pies are legendary, with their meat 100% sourced directly from the property, 0 food kilometres. This is how food is supposed to be made, paddock to plate to mouth.
Welcome to Dodger's Storytime.
Dodgy facts.
Dodgy facts. We're sitting here with one of our biggest fans,
Not him.
the Irish chef.
Chili, relish, and chili.
Oh yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
on the relish.
Wagyu. Oh, the relish. You go relish.
Chili or piccalilli?
Have a commercial pot.
How are you supposed to get you put that in there?
You recording this?
Yes.
When she offered us knives and forks, I think she was talking from experience. We probably should have taken her up on that.
What are we going to do now, Dodge? We don't have a fork. Are we going to go back?
Can't go back.
Feeling inspired with our bellies full of locally produced meat, we head off to the hunting location in the hopes of enjoying our own harvest, wild venison meat that we can use in our own homemade pies. It's just a matter of getting the buggy off the trailer, loading the gear up, and we're ready to go.
I can't believe you took the tan hat.
Matches my outfit and my eyes.
Cheers. Dodger just found a fresh scrape and he just started talking to Geordie about it and explaining it. And I was like, hey, shh, say it again. And he goes, all of it? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, all of it. So fallow bucks like to find branches that are about 1,500 off the ground, and they stand underneath them, scrape the ground, mark their territory, and then rake the tree as a scent marking situation. So it's a good sign. That's fresh because the guys were mustering cattle in here yesterday, and that has no cattle prints on it, and they push them over this track. So as you can see, rather fresh cattle poo around. So that means there's a buck around here somewhere, and he's pretty active.
Given that we'd just seen fresh evidence of a buck in the area, we spent a few extra minutes glassing before moving on. But even then, it wasn't long before we came across our first group of fallow deer.
Deer on the left, under the tree. You jumped it.
Yeah. Those roos will spooked it.
Bumped our first deer. Two was it?
I only saw
Just the
one.
one.
Just the one. Fellow spiker. 80 metres.
Where was he sitting? What tree
Up
was he
there.
sitting?
I just saw his head and shoulders pop up,
Yeah.
so it was bedded in that thick stuff. So it was bedded on the edge of that thicket, and then just popped up to see what we were.
With visual confirmation that there were deer nearby, we opted to leave the buggy behind in favour of covering some territory on foot. Now, while you can't cover as much ground this way, stalking on foot dramatically reduces the chance of spooking deer, while increasing your chances of getting the jump on one. Moving on foot also forces you to connect with the terrain, providing you with data about how dry, wet or noisy the ground is. The better informed you are about what's under your boots, the better chance you'll have at sneaking up on a deer. Now the cruel irony of it all is sometimes you can travel all that distance only to come back to your vehicle and spot the deer there. But hey, that's how it works sometimes.
Geordie's just seen a deer. Just over there. There's a fallow doe. There's a few of them. It's about 89 metres. So he's just going to line up for a shot. Take your safety off. He's going to shoot. Oh, man, it's up to you. You don't have to take it if you don't want. But I think I want to eat dinner tonight, so we better shoot this one so we can get home in time to have some dinner. Right, I'm shooting. Good shots.
Great shot.
Good shot.
No, she's kicking. I may have.
No, I think she's...
Give it a second. She's good. That's done.
Great shot. Cracking shot.
High five.
Hey! Good work. Beautiful. Hey!
I feel like I may have been a touch high. Look at that.
What you've got there is
She
a dead
didn't
deer.
move. Yeah.
We're talking semantics here. I think I was a millimetre to the high side.
Perfection.
How'd that feel?
Yeah, good, really good. I've never got a fallow before, so and it was just
I just spotted it out like this bright orange, just walking off behind the tree, and then just kind of seeing it walking off. I was like, okay, it's gone. And then there was another one, and I didn't see that for a while. And then the first one kind of turned and came back, and there was just this bright orange deer.
Yeah.
Just kind of feeding back onto that slightly open bit. Got herself down, just had a look at them, and
she was broadside, wasn't she? Like or kind of side on.
She was quartering towards to start, and then went broadside, and then slightly quartered away, but still mostly broadside.
Yeah. And you had your pick. There was like what?
There was 2 at least.
Yeah, I think it was like another 3.
Yeah.
They were further
really
behind.
See them. I think they were up further in that thick stuff.
Yeah. Perfect though. The breeze is coming from this direction.
Well, the wind's a bit mad, but like I did not know we were there whatsoever.
No, that's good.
And
89 meters, perfect.
Had plenty of time just to talk it out and then get that shot.
And
really happy.
She went down so cleanly.
Didn't take a step.
She didn't get up. She was down within, I reckon, 20 seconds. She was dead, easy. If that. Probably more 10, 15.
Oh yeah, she didn't take a step, did she? She just dropped.
So cool. Let's go get her.
You looking for a cheap set of binos? Where's yours, Chris?
I don't know, Will. You got him?
No, you left them on the ground. You can tell he's sponsored.
All in service of the shot.
So I actually met Geordie at the first Australian Hunters Club meeting back in 2022, and thanks to the club I now count him as one of my best friends. Now if you want to connect with other hunters, go on the draw to win professionally guided hunts or hunting products each month, or maybe you need your genuine reason or the security of hunting insurance, I want to invite you, like me, to join the Australian Hunters Club. To learn more or sign up, head over to australianhunters.com.au, and who knows, through the club you might also make the friend of a lifetime too.
That's how fatty she is. She has fat on her exit wound.
Thank you, girl.
I think that deserves a full skin.
I honestly thought they were bigger. This is my first fallow encounter. Like I almost feel like I could chuck that and carry it out.
Well, if you gut it, you can.
Yeah.
If you gut it, you'd be able to backpack that and carry it over. She's a beautiful animal. Good work, Geordie.
The white hairs don't seem to go winter coat, just the other colours.
Oh.
So the other colours come through in a thicker coat,
it's like
and the
Chris
white
with
gets
his
absorbed.
beard in the summer, it goes ginger.
Well, I'll tell you now, it's not just summer. It's just gingers are for life, mate.
It's a brotherhood for life.
Cool. Now the fun begins.
Nice one.
Now the fun begins.
Thanks for bringing us, man.
No worries. Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
everyone's pulling out their knives.
Alphas or XTs?
That's blood.
She's the same brand.
No, this is Eagle Hawk's Australian fellow. Actually lives just around the corner from me. That's marsupial, an American brand trying to be Australian. Which is funny. Eagle Hawk has an American hawk.
Well, it's got a kangaroo.
And then the Australian one's got a hawk on it, and the American one's got an American Australian.
Like a wedge-tail eagle.
It is a wedgie.
Yeah.
So your 2 fingers hold it apart and stop the internal lining coming up on the knife. Now we have the beautiful caul
Look at
fat.
that caul fat.
So we're going to take that. To take it, there's not a whole lot of prettiness to it, but it's just gathering it up. And see here it fades out to nothing?
Yeah.
That's just where it
That's the edge
separates.
of the line,
Yep.
okay.
And that's probably the extent of it.
Beauty.
So then, it's called caul fat, C-A-U-L, or lace fat.
Yeah.
Which you can see why.
Look at that.
I mean,
Beautiful.
Don't know how many husbands that marry a wife she's wearing that down the aisle, but
I think about it. And it encases the stomach, eh?
correct. And for temperature regulation,
Oh.
but also for
And is this
holding it
different at
together.
different times of the year?
Well,
Will you get more in the winter, less?
in the winter I haven't found it as thick.
Yeah.
Right now it's obviously just coming off the back of summer,
They've
so
had a
that
good
even the
paddock to
stags
feed
would have. So during pregnancy this would diminish.
Yeah.
Because they're putting all their energy into growing.
Into the milk and all
Yeah.
the protein.
So this is
and-
them preparing.
Yeah. Oh wow, you can see that it's gone crisp, eh?
It's done. So if you lay it nice and flat,
It dries out and it's
dries
easier.
out or cools down, then you can roll it up.
That's already
Crispy.
like plastic. That's super cool.
Food for the night.
With the field dressing done, the next step is to skin the deer so Geordie can have the hide tanned. After that, we can move on to butchering and finally make our pies. But first, we need to hang up this deer.
Just little dodgy tips.
Dodgy facts.
To remove this part of the leg, but leave the tendon on to hang off, we need to take it off here, and there's 2 joints here. If we take it off at the first joint, you actually lose this bit of bone that connects through to this tendon, and you can't hang the deer anymore. What we need to do is remove it at the second joint. Now the way to find that, hold the leg straight, run your fingers up. You're here on the bone, it comes out over the first knuckle, in, and then comes out again. And it's at the high point of the second ridge where you make your incision. And when I say incision, it's just a circular cut all the way around through there, follow around both sides.
Beautiful.
Done. Clean.
Now go, Geordie.
Out, in, out, bring back there.
Go down about 2 mil. Yep. All the way around. A bit more tendon at the back you haven't cut. Keep going through there, that's soft, yep. And then there's 2 tendons up the side. His toes drop. As soon as you cut the side one, the toes drop. That's it. Now twisting.
Oh, no, so close.
I can feel it.
Not as good as the master.
Now we hang her.
Now, if you haven't skinned an animal for its hide yet, I can't recommend it enough. It's an exercise of skill building, precision, and patience. And if you're lucky enough to have a few good mates with you, well, you can get the job done in no time. If you put in the work, you'll be richly rewarded with something that will forever remind you of your experience. Trust me, it's worth it.
So Dodge and Geordie just finished skinning the beautiful fallow doe, and Dodge said he has a little surprise for
Special
snacks.
snacks.
Special snacks.
Special snacks.
What do we got? What do we got here? Oh, brownies!
Surf and turf, boys.
This is like
Non-sanitary.
This is hunting.
Beautiful.
This is guarding.
Nice clean air.
Yeah, exactly.
In our meat is, we can eat other meat.
So with the meat frozen, vacuum sealed and flown back to Victoria, we're now ready to make our wild venison pies. Now if you want some detailed instructions on how to cook venison pies, you can watch the full video over at the Australian Huntsman YouTube channel, where Geordie offers some fantastic cooking tips and goes through the entire cooking process in detail. But for now, here are the basic steps. First, you need to cut up your venison into nice 1.5cm cubes. Then mix and massage 2 heaped teaspoons of plain flour, garlic salt, mustard powder, sweet paprika and a couple of cracks of pepper into your meat. Oil and heat up your pan so you can start browning your meat. Now you can chop up some onion, leeks, celery and carrot. Once that's done, head back over to your meat and turn each piece so it's browned on all sides. When that's done, you can add it to your slow cooker. The next step is to chop up a large potato into generous chunks, then add the bones and potato into the slow cooker with your browned meat. Now it's time to make the gravy sauce. First, add 1/4 cup of beef stock and a good glug of Worcestershire sauce and the secret ingredient, Maggi gravy powder, to a jug of water. Whisking it until it's dissolved and then add in some more cracked pepper for good measure. You can then go back to your hot pan and place a generous tablespoon of duck fat into it. Add in your chopped onion, leeks, celery and carrot and cook it until the onion is transparent. Once it's cooked, add in some minced garlic and cook it for another few minutes. Then you can add it all to your slow cooker along with the gravy sauce and any leftover seasoned flour that didn't make it onto your meat and cook it for 6 to 8 hours. Once cooked, put it into the fridge and let it cool overnight. Now it's simply a matter of cutting out your puff pastry pie bases and lids, try saying that 1,000 times, greasing your pie molds with oil, butter or margarine first. Then place the pastry bottoms into the pie mold, adding in your cooked filling, then place your lids on top, folding the edges into the sides of the pie to seal it. Now you can crack a few eggs, separating the egg yolk and whisking it to make your egg wash. Once whisked, you can then brush the tops of your pies with the egg wash. Now before you put your venison pies into the oven, here's a really good tip from Geordie you should listen to.
A couple of poppy seeds on top. Because, you know, if you're cooking game meat for someone, well, this is what we're about. Like, you want it to look good. You know, people eat with their eyes first. You want to make it look like a pie that came from the shop. Because if you want your family to be happy about you going hunting and bringing home the food and, you know, living our life that we love, put the extra effort in.
That's a great tip. That's a really good tip.
Now, pop that in the oven and we're going to say check it after 20 minutes and then we'll go from there.
This is what it's all about, connecting with the animals that you are hunting and the people you are hunting with. What better way to do this than over a pie? Very Australian. Barry Babcock once wisely said, "The forest talks, but a good hunter only hears it by learning its language." This first morning we are greeted to the soft dialogue of the babbling river, the gentle thud of a retreating kangaroo, and the cackle of a fire as we warm ourselves ready for the day's hunting. Now, it's one thing to jump into a conversation for the first time, navigating its complexities and nuances, and it's another again to be the master of that conversation. Thankfully, on this trip we have Alex, also known as the Wild Food Master, who's been hunting goats on these mountains for years now, taking the time to learn the subtleties of the mountain's language. Not only is he fluent in the language, but he's happy to share some of that knowledge with us. That knowledge starts with his choice of a campsite that has a full view of the mountain we are hunting, complete with wild goats cresting the peak in the early hours of the morning. After a quick glass, we know exactly where we have to be.
There's a few really nice ones. What?
Nothing.
What are you laughing at? Me filming myself watching.
Yeah, it'll be some good content when you watch it back.
There's some good content now, Jordy.
What do you think, boys? 7:22, 8 more minutes of perving, and then
Sounds good.
and then we get ready and we give ourselves half an hour to be boots on, pack on.
Yeah.
Once we geared up, we wasted no time starting to climb the mountain, making our way up the spine of the closest spur. Now, like any hike, your legs will shout protest during the first 10 minutes, but it's not long until the practiced mountain hunter finds their rhythm. And in this situation, also peak sign.
You see the scratch marks, but that's big, mate.
I mean, a pig wouldn't do that, would it? Oh, actually, no.
No, I've seen.
But that's probably where
I've seen pigs do proper like lay logs.
Yeah.
That's probably where he's been rooting up with his nose, looking for roots.
Given that evidence is opposite about the length of a pig away.
Yeah, that's the nose, eh? That's the bum end.
And we heard them here last night.
Oh, look, there's more. Yeah.
As we were just sitting around the campfire last night, all you heard was
Plenty of fresh pig digging too. We might even bump one still.
That has a bit of a chuckle because I find it funny with how much accuracy I tend to find that particular tree every single time. I never aim for it, but I always end up in the vicinity of it.
So before we go any further, I just want to offer you this quick tip on firearm maintenance and optimal performance, and that is this. Doesn't matter whether you're hiking and hunting up a mountain or bashing through the bush or hunting in a paddock, firearms are prone to wear and tear damage. It could be corrosion of your barrel or maybe a dent in your stock or damage to your scope. And so it's really important that you maintain your rifle and you keep it in the best condition possible so you can get the best performance out of it. There is nothing worse than hunting for a number of hours, lining up on the animal that you're ready to shoot and firing, and only to have your rifle not perform the way you want it to because it's in poor condition. This is one of the products that I use to get around that issue. It's really cool. It's called Neo Guard, and essentially it's a neoprene cover that goes around your rifle, covers the stock and the butt but frees up your action. You can also get a sock or a sleeve that goes over the barrel and protects it from rain damage and corrosion. What's great about it is that it's super cheap, but it's incredibly effective at protecting your rifle. And if you want the best out of your rifle, which I personally do, it's important that you protect it. Another great thing is that it's sold by an Australian business, designed and manufactured and sold by Eagle Eye Hunting Gear. If you know me, you know that I love supporting Australian hunting businesses that in turn support us. This is a great way to support them. Comes in a number of different sizes, number of different colors and combinations. Definitely check it out. Also, Australian Hunting Club members get a discount, so it's worth joining the club so you can get a discount on awesome hunting gear. Anyway, that's it for now. Let's keep going.
I like to do it through here because I have plenty of cover. Yeah. Enough view to get an idea of what's going on there. I can't see anything there, and I had a look there earlier. I think we're good to go.
That rock up in this place, you can tell, the dirt hasn't dried yet, so that's recent. Same here. That rock came out of that crevice. That's still really moist. I literally see the shimmer on it. I see the top is dry. That's how it's set originally. It came out like that. It's still moist. That's how I found it. I can't say which animal it was, but there's evidence of something having been here.
Now, hiking up a mountain like this is hard work. In fact, not 6 months ago, a relatively new hunter was medevaced and airlifted by chopper off this same spur on a day unlike this one. It just goes to show you that you always need to be prepared and know your capacity.
So, we're about halfway up this mountain, I reckon. It's probably about 8:30, 8:45. We headed off at about 8 o'clock and we're just contouring our way around to get to the top. We sighted a group of billies and nannies at the top, probably about, how many do you reckon, Geordie? 15?
10 to 15, yeah.
10 to 15.
A couple of big billies amongst them.
Some really nice billies. So what we're hoping to do is just to get to the top of the plateau, which is about 200 metres wide, and just slowly make our way up there. And we saw some peaks on before, so it's looking promising. Hey Geordie, you are regretting those leggings?
Oh yes. Though nice and cool.
Picking seeds out of them for the rest of the trip.
Oh, I will be. Gator's done well though.
Gators are clean.
Now here's another quick tip for you. In the event you need to tighten your pants and don't have a belt, you can always use rope. Now the trick is you don't need to wind the rope all the way around your waist, you can just feed it through the front 2 loops, which uses less rope.
I'm gonna do a bow tie.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks fashionable.
So you look pretty.
It wasn't long after Alex's wardrobe malfunction that we reached the summit of the mountain, and almost immediately Geordie and I smelled goat.
Yeah. Yeah, they're here. We've just seen there's 2 or 3 goats about 100 and, what did we say, 300? 280
that way and 380 that way.
Yeah, 280 on this cliff face. And then off this cliff face over here, we've seen a billy, a pregnant nanny, and maybe another one, but he's 380 and we can't get a closer shot on him.
We're standing on a ridgeline in between the 2 cliffs.
And we can't shoot either way.
It's one worse or the other.
Yeah, so I think we're just going to get a little bit more elevation now that we've seen a few.
Sorry.
And just keep going. And there's a mob down here now.
Now the mob that we had just spotted was 380 metres away on the next ridgeline, too far away for an ethical shot with our gear. After confirming that there were a number of healthy billies in the group, we had 2 options: sit tight and hope that they return in the evening, or leg it, quickly closing the gap in the hope that we could take a shot. Now we chose the latter, and after a short 100-metre dash, we were soon rewarded with eyes on a gnarly old Godzilla-looking billy with a crazy razorback hide. Feeling lucky, we pushed another 50 metres, ready to line up the shot.
Billy, we looked at. It's got the line with that tree.
So he's about 280, not 380.
Yep, they're moving further to the right. I lost the Billy. But they're moving further downhill. I reckon we should weave our way into that sort of low-lying area over there and keep glassing. Chris.
Where's the big one?
He's at the back. 20 meters to your left is a goat.
Don't even bother, Chris. The big one is at the tree, walking away.
Move an inch. Move. Another billy coming on the left. Oh, he's a good one too. Smaller. He's about to move.
No, he's down. All right, Alex has found him. Oh, so we've just taken a shot on this white and black and brown billy. He wasn't the one that I was going to shoot, but the one I was going to shoot was broadside and covered with the tree. And this guy came out behind, and I reckon I took a couple of seconds at him, and he was,
and then slid your way down.
And then slid my way down the hill, and he was a much better shot. So, wasn't the bigger billy, but was the better, cleaner shot that had a higher probability of success. So,
yeah,
let's go get him.
Marbling of his fur and on the head, it's just fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so too.
You tell me about it. You're the goat expert. What's unique? I mean, he's got
the
awesome.
unique feature of him is that the horns go backwards so far, and then only spread out, and that they're so nicely and tight together for headbutting. And you can actually see they've been rutting. So he's actually got, what do you call it, calluses or scab.
These scabs on the top of his temples
from headbutting,
where he's been smacking.
The reason I like him is the shape of the horns, and just that face is fantastic.
Yeah, like that beautiful kind of marbled. Oh, that's gorgeous.
And he's heavy and big and solid. He's got a nice rug on him.
Super woolly.
But you saw that. That's just how it often happens. We were focusing on something like 300 meters away.
Yeah, we were like 300 that way, 280 that way. Can we close that to 200? Well, let's try. Run down. We're running down the hill, and then it's like, Chris, stop. There's a goat there. And I was like, oh, okay. And then it's, you know, and then Alex's next question was, there's a tree with a bit of a V in it, and he's like, are you tall enough to get the rifle in the V?
The answer was no.
The answer was no. But yeah, and then there was that billy, kind of, not this guy, the other guy, behind the tree, and it wasn't a good shot. And so we just waited for him, and then all of a sudden this guy presented behind him.
Yeah.
The billy at the back, that's the one you want to shoot.
Congrats, mate.
Thank you, thank you. He's beautiful.
This hunt has been a lot of fun, but what's actually made it that much more special and more fun is having Geordie here. Geordie I actually met at the first Australian Hunters Club gathering in Victoria. But to meet someone who, you know, you share a like mind with, and to connect with them, and we've been on a number of hunts together, and this hunt has been amazing, and to share it with him is just that much more special. And I want to encourage you, if you're a hunter, if you're new to hunting, or you've been hunting for a while and you don't have strong friendships, this is one of the great ways that you can do is to connect with the club. Find people to hunt with. We give away hunts every single month. Like this one, you can win this hunt with Wild Food Meister Alex. Or you can go on hunts with other members, like I'm doing here with Geordie. Just invited Geordie along, and it's been awesome. Yesterday, Geordie shot a beautiful fallow doe. Today, we're shooting billies. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't checked it out already, check out Australian Hunters Club, australianhunters.com.au, and hopefully you can find some hunting buddies, or win an awesome hunt and get your genuine reason and your insurance, and maybe even win some hunting products.
What products?
Hunting products. What kind of products do you want?
I want this one.
Those at home that care, the shot was perfect. Just like this guy. He's like, don't shoot him anywhere else but a lung heart shot, and that was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, into
Back
that
of the leg.
shoulder.
Yeah.
He, you see him feet up straight away.
Yeah,
And
down
he
straight
took
away.
a little tumble, didn't go far. What?
No,
50?
he didn't get up, he just tumbled. This guy is gonna make an amazing trophy, an amazing rug, and it's gonna smell terrible for its entire life. And Geordie did one recently, and he's kept the bag, the purse.
And the biggest part of the billy.
I reckon we might do it on this one too.
You're getting rid of a lot of skin if you lose that.
After carefully skinning the billy so I could tan the hide, as well as breaking down the meat, we were ready to head down the mountain.
No, that's what you call a Geordie job.
Look good?
Now, even though the weather had turned, we were in high spirits and made short work of the journey down, exchanging different recipes and ideas on how we could cook the goat that night for dinner. By the time we'd returned to camp, the sun was setting and we'd come to an agreement. Tonight, we're going to eat Rocky Mountain oysters. Now you might be thinking, Chris, they don't look like oysters to me. They look like, to use the Latin word, colia scrotum. And you'd be right. What you may not know is that they are delicious and cooking them is quick and easy. All you need to do is cut and remove the outer sheath to reveal the inner thin membrane. Then use a filleting knife to cut a shallow slit in the inner membrane and slowly slide your blade along its base to remove it. Then you can cut the remaining meat up into small medallions, coat them in flour with a bit of salt and pepper and the seasonings of your choice, then quickly fry them in butter or oil. The result is a mouth-watering, crispy and juicy snack that everyone can enjoy. You've just got to have the guts to cook them.
Yeah, that is good. What does that taste like though? It's like
flour and butter.
It's like chicken. It's like a really moist chicken.
Yeah, like a chicken nugget on steroids.
Yeah.
With our New South Wales hunting trip coming to a close, the next morning we packed up the tent and Geordie retrieved the yabby pot from the river that he'd set the day before. Now, we had no luck with yabbies, but what we did catch was 2 eastern long-necked turtles who'd snuck in and eaten all the bait. We sent them on their way and did the same thing, heading off to the airport. But before we got to the airport, we did have one final surprise encounter that was pretty memorable. We just pulled over the side of the road and look what Geordie saw.
Oi! Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, look at it. He's left horn.
Snapped.
That's like 10 meters.
Is that tasty?
They say that the early bird gets the worm. Well, it's the early hunter that gets the bird. While it might not be fun getting up at 4 or 5 a.m, getting to your spot and setting up the decoys before first light is crucial if you want to maximize your chances at getting some ducks. Knowing this full well, we arrive at our hunting location early so we can start getting ready.
A few blackies and teal. Are these the decoys?
Yeah, just the decoys. So we've unfortunately reached the end of where we were walking. Troy's just walked back to where we came in and said he had an idea. Also, it's pretty deep there, so we'll see what he's come up with. Good thinking. Told me it was 6 foot deep. It's not 6 foot deep at all. With the advantage of the boat, we can now explore deeper into this swampy property and reach an area for unloading decoys. Now, in the duck hunting world, the ultimate secret weapon is the humble duck decoy. Imagine this, a serene lakeside, a masterpiece of nature. As the sun rises, the savvy hunter prepares the stage, strategically placing decoys on the water's surface. Now, these decoys mimic a flock, creating an irresistible gathering that entices ducks. You see, ducks are social creatures, seeking safety and companionship in numbers. Decoys tap into this instinct, offering security and a genuine invitation. Passing flocks are drawn closer to the hunting ground, enticed by the sight of a large group. Now, decoys can also lure ducks in back after an initial shot. In the moment of confusion, ducks will seek a safe place to land, and if you've done your job correctly, they can land right back in front of you. Now, each decoy needs to be carefully positioned. Too close and it looks too fake. Too far apart, well, that doesn't give the duck party vibe that we want. Just like Goldilocks and her porridge, it needs to be just right. At the end of the day, using decoys is an art form. It honours hunting traditions while embracing the challenge and the rewards it brings. So, next time you're out duck hunting, remember the power of the humble decoy. So it's about 7 o'clock and we're just waiting basically. We can't shoot till 8. So we've got the decoys out and we're just sitting and waiting. We just got absolutely turboed by some blackies that just flew over, but it is cold. It's a cold morning. Here comes the one. It's pretty cool. Do you want to give the plug for your Atmo sponsor? Ones I've just tipped everywhere. It's all part of the They are a good show. Don't drop them in the mud. While we waited, I figured we'd make use of our time and talk a little strategy. You see, I'm a newbie duck hunter, so I was really relying on Troy's experience here. After the shots, they'll settle down again. They'll fly up and then they'll all kind of move what they want.
That's hunting. In theory, like that. That's where the decoys are. That's where my other mates are. Come up the channel. Hopefully land in the spread. That's when we'll be able to take a few.
With everything in place, all that was left to do was sit and count the minutes until we could shoot. Now I can understand why this frustrates some people. With game ducks in the air, it can feel like you're missing out on opportunities. But I'd encourage people who feel this way to temper their frustrations and enjoy the moment of stillness. Take in the beautiful vista that the morning is offering you. Watch the birds, take note of their behaviour. This brief window provides the perfect opportunity to get a clear look at the sky and see what the birds are doing. Use the time wisely. You might even find you need to adjust your strategy at the last minute. Or at the very least, take a moment to be still and mindful. It won't be long until the adrenaline is pumping through your veins and the stillness will be gone.
Alright, so we're getting closer. We're about 7:45, and we're just waiting. It turns out most of the duck are in a circular dam about 100 metres away, and Troy thought they'd be in this channel with the way the wind was going, but just like deer hunting, things change. So we've now pushed the boat out a little bit, moved it, and we're going to stand behind this bit of nastiness, and hopefully we'll get a shot. Troy was saying basically the first shot that happens just spooks the birds, and they'll fly up in the air and kind of circle around. Then they'll see all of our decoys over here, and hopefully they'll come in on land, and we can ambush them from here. So it's all going to happen pretty quickly. We can take 4 birds each. So we'll see how we go. Just wait out the rest of this morning till we can shoot. We're standing next to the bush. We're going to be in the shadows.
Aussie, want to shoot from there?
Yeah, we'll shoot from there.
With one final last minute adjustment to the best spot to stand, we got in position ready to shoot. And in case you're wondering, the shotgun that I'm using is a Beretta Silver Pigeon 3 that not only looks amazing, which is important, but also shoots really well. Now it's just a waiting game to see who will score the first shot. Then it's on.
There's 2 teal in the spread. Shoot them. Shoot the 2 teal. There's 2.
Now I know that many duck hunters disagree with shooting ducks on the water. The Sportsman Code has long considered it both unethical and unsportsmanlike to do so, but hear me out. While the rule aims to promote fair play and sportsmanship, my concern is that the promotion of these values may inadvertently have negative consequences. For me, adherence to this code is dependent on the context and the goals I have for any given hunt. You see, while shooting at flying ducks promotes fair chase and requires more sportsmanship and skill, it also increases the likelihood of wounding. Now, the primary reason why I hunt is to harvest an animal to eat. So when it comes to hunting, I want to ensure that I have the highest probability of a clean and ethical kill. A duck on the water not only offers a higher probability of success, but it also offers a higher probability of recovery. At the end of the day, it's important to remember that opinions on hunting ethics vary among individuals. The sportsman rule is followed by those who prioritise the fair chase and the challenging aspect of the hunting experience. However, it is equally important for hunters to practice responsible shooting and ensure ethical considerations to minimise suffering and maximise the likelihood of a successful harvest. That's my thoughts anyway. Alright, so there's plenty more shooting to come, but before we get to that, if you're not already a member of the Australian Hunters Club, I want to personally invite you to join. Ours is a national club, each month giving away professional hunting experiences and hunting gear. Members host events and free hunts, and we also offer you standard inclusions like hunting insurance and your genuine reason to own a firearm. In my opinion, it's the best club in the country. You can pause the video to learn more or sign up as a member like me over at australianhunters.com.au. Don't worry, the video's not going anywhere. Alright, let's get back to the hunt.
There's Blackie. Oh, beautiful bird, especially when you get that sunlight.
Yeah, off that
reflection,
wing.
off that wing.
Yeah, gorgeous.
With another black duck down, Troy went back out again into the swamp, and after finding the duck, stopped off at the pond I mentioned before for a sticky beak, managing to get another duck there. Me? I was feeling the pressure, so I opted to stay behind in the hope that Troy's movements would spook any remaining ducks my way, and I'd get a shot. Thankfully, this is exactly what happened. So that went well. That went really well. I got another one down, so now I'm three, which is nearly my daily bag limit. The first shot was 2 in a row, so I'm pretty happy with that. I saw a few of them flying over, and just kind of behind this scrubby bush behind me. I thought I'll just wait till they kind of curve around, and sure enough, just as they curved around, it was just close enough, and I knocked it and he went straight down into the water. So that's good. 3, and there's still time, but I'm looking forward to eating one. I'm getting hungry. I'm getting real hungry. I've been up since early. It's good fun though, man. It's good fun. So different from deer hunting. So different, but really fun nonetheless. With the hunting done, it was now time to pack everything back into the boat and make our way back to the cars for lunch. After all, I hadn't forgotten about Troy's promise to make me his famous duck schnitzel burger. With the excitement of the morning, it's nice as well to have a cruisy boat ride back, enjoying the flight of the grebes as they dance across the water or the beauty of the marsh. It's hard to imagine anyone not liking this lifestyle, and yet some do. So Troy and I were just cleaning up his blackie, and his neck is like chocker full of what we think are beans. It's like literally, if you hang him down, you can see all of that is beans.
It's actually got a bit of a... It's like a mini bean bag.
It is a bean bag.
We'll have a look.
Let's have a look. Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh my god. Wow.
That's a lot of beans.
That's a lot of beans.
Now that is one black duck. Imagine how many 500 are doing to the farmer's crop.
Yeah.
To his bean crop. Look at that.
That's crazy. Send that to the farmer.
Wow.
Jeez.
Now he looks anorexic.
He does. Now it is a bit comical, but humour aside, Troy's made a great point. This is the amount of beans that one black duck ate this morning alone from one farmer's property. Now include the rest of the 500 ducks that were grazing on that field. Now push that out to a week of grazing, or a month, and that's just how much damage a flock of ducks can do to 1 square kilometre of farming property. Imagine what they're doing across Australia each day. Now, I'm not suggesting that we cull all the ducks, not at all. Ducks are amazing and beautiful creatures and play a vital role in our ecosystem and should be valued. I just think that it's important that we all appreciate and value the role hunters play in supporting important industries like farming. So the next time you see an anti-duck hunting segment in the news, or the next time you're drinking a soy latte or eating your tofu, maybe think about the plight of the farmers and the hunters who are helping them help you. For those playing at home, here's the duck schnitzel burger recipe. First, make sure you have a clean prep surface to work on. Second, put some homemade snags on the barbecue to cook while you're prepping the duck. You may get hungry. Now you can remove the feathers from the breast of the duck. Next step is to run the knife down the side of the breastbone, then continue with smaller cuts separating the breast like you would do with the deer's backstrap. Once you've removed the meat from the bone, you should be able to separate it from the skin with your hands. With the breast now removed, you can tenderize it with either a hammer or a portable tenderizing roller like this one. Next step is to season the meat. I've never seen that before. That's an electric one. Is it so you don't have to grind them yourself? Because it's such a hard job. It's such a... This is just
No, there's no chicken.
too much. With your meat seasoned, you can now crumb it. If you want to use egg or flour to bind the crumb to your meat, you can. We were just being lazy. And finally, place your crumb breasts in a hot pan of oil and cook until golden brown. Then you can take them out and put them in a bun or bread of your choice, throw on some coleslaw mix, add some slices of cheese, drizzle on some barbecue or hot sauce, and now you've got a tasty duck schnitzel burger the whole family can enjoy.
Not bad.
It's pretty good. That smoky sauce is pretty good. There's bang on.
How can someone not enjoy that?
We've just arrived. It's about 7:30 and the sun's just about to break, but it is really misty, as you can see. It's good. The wind is in our face. That's good. We're just going to start making our way down this way, and the important thing just to be thinking about, especially if you're new, is what your feet are doing. You just want to make sure that you avoid standing on any sticks or like loose gravel that's going to make crunching sounds. So you always need to be thinking about your feet. Now, you don't need to move fast, you can move quite slowly when you're hunting. But if you stand on a stick at the wrong time, it can ruin a hunt, and the animal that you're pursuing can disappear into the bush without you even realising. So a lot of new hunters think they never see game animals, and they don't know why. That's one of the reasons why they're out there. Unfortunately, the wind is a bit swirly, changing directions really quickly, which is not ideal, but the fog is starting to break up, which is good. This is a great example of fresh sambar poo or scat. You can tell it's fresh when it has this thin layer of slime around it. Now, depending on the weather, deer scat that's older than a few hours will lose this slime and start to dry out, making it harder to break apart. As this happens, the inside will start to become grainy and lose its softness and moisture. You can tell it's deer scat because of its unique pill-like shape that often has a subtle nipple on the top, almost like a soft serve ice cream, but a little bit more subtle. Given sambar are a large deer, it makes sense therefore that their scat is also larger than smaller species like fallow, but it has the same overall shape. So literally, that animal that was over there that did the poo is coming in here, and it's skid down this hill. You can see the dirt that's been misplaced. You can't see like really defined footprints, but you can see the dirt that is ripped up. And if it's been ripped up and it's sliding, it means it's moving quickly, and which essentially means that we bumped it. It smelt us, it got up quickly, finished off its booze, moved down, slid down here, kept going. Between the gap of those two trees, there is a sambar. I think she's about 40 or 50 metres away. It's right through there. One tree, one tree, one tree. You see that? Let me put down my pack. I'll get my tripod out. Then you can spot her and I'll take a shot. I think she's gone. Yeah, no, she's gone. So we just had our first bit of action. There was a sambar hind bedded 48 metres over here. And we just spotted her. And it was just kind of her upper torso, she was facing towards us. And got the rifle ready. Just right behind the camera, got ready. We just couldn't quite get her on camera. And I didn't want to take the shot until we had her on camera. But she was very generous with the amount of time that she did give us. That gives you an idea of how quiet deer are. We were 48 metres from it. I think the sound of the zipper getting the tripod out for the camera spooked her, and she didn't get up and just like explode out of the bush. She just calmly stood up and just walked away. And by the time I got my binoculars back up to have a look, she was already gone. And you don't even hear them disappear. That's what's really frustrating for new hunters, is they feel like they walk through the bush and they don't see anything. Therefore they assume that there's nothing there. Any animal that's ahead of us can smell us now, and will speak on before
might have to change our approach as we get further down into the basin. Hopefully the wind settles down a bit anyway, so. But we'll just have to watch that, because that's not good. Australian Hunters Club, best club in Australia.
Speaking of the Australian Hunters Club, before we go any further, I want to stop and personally invite you to join, like me, as a member of the club. We are one of Australia's fastest growing hunting clubs with members in every state and territory. Through our club, you can go on the draw to win professional hunts and hunting gear every month, find and connect with other local members through our brand new members directory, attend events, join other members on their planned hunts, even get discounts on leading hunting brands and online Australian hunting stores. You can, like me, join as a member or learn more by heading over to australianhunters.com.au. Then you can come back and watch the rest of the video.
So we're going to make our way across this little gully here where these ferns are. And basically this is the intersection of two different spurs. So a spur is like a finger that comes out of the mountain. So there's a spur that comes from this side of the mountain like this, and a spur that comes from this side of the mountain like this. And where they intersect creates a gully or a valley. And generally that's the wettest point on the spur or on the mountain, these gullies. Which is why it's full of bracken, is because all the water comes down them. So you know you've picked a good path through the bracken when you kind of circle around, and then you see a footprint in the exact same place that you put yours. It's Sambar, but it's moving in the opposite direction.
Given our luck hadn't changed, I decided it was worth doing something different and changing things up. And I've had this new deer caller, Sambar caller in particular, from H2K Hunting Calls for quite a while now. I haven't yet used it. They're actually a small Australian company. Paul hand makes every single one of these deer calls, so I thought it was worth giving it a crack. If you are interested in checking them out, you can check out H2K Hunting Calls on Instagram. Paul didn't pay me to give him a shout out, I just wanted to do it.
Deer bed. Just here off the side of a game trail. Because the game trail comes from that way. Runs all the way through here. And then sit here. And then it continues down that way. How daring are you? That was so frustrating. Ledge was just here, standing here, just sitting and waiting, and I heard a funny sound. And then there was about 5 or 6, a small family unit of Sambar just over here. Just went straight through. They smelled us immediately, just didn't have a chance. Couldn't even get them on camera. I was literally saying to Jezray as well, I'm like, give it 5 more minutes. The wind is up our butt. Like it's gonna, anything ahead of us is just gonna smell us. Give it 5 more minutes of this direction, then we'll just stop. And then that happens. That's hunting though. That's hunting.
In the whirlwind of this fast-paced life, it's all too easy to lose sight of the strange times we find ourselves in. A time where, with the click of a button, we can summon almost any imaginable item to be delivered promptly to our doorstep within a week. A time where we can traverse great distances, propelled through the skies or along the vast network of asphalt that crisscrosses the globe. There is a danger that the convenience and ease of this life might ensnare us in a deceptive web of entitlement and false security if we're not cautious. Even though we didn't have success today, I'm glad for the humbling experience. It's good to be harshly reminded that some things are not supposed to be easy, that some things shouldn't be easy, that there is value in the struggle, meaning in the striving, and growth for the hunter who is willing to sacrifice and learn. I was reminded of this when I saw Jessere struggling to climb the hills today. His eyes revealed it all, the strain and the toil, the sheer exhaustion. However, as he conquered that final summit, a transformation took place. A glimmer of excitement, joy and satisfaction danced within his gaze. Even though we didn't shoot a deer today, there was value and satisfaction in the experience. Value for Jessere, value for me, and hopefully value for you. Yet, in the midst of nature's unforgiving instruction, there are rare moments when she loosens her hold at the 11th hour, tantalizing you with a beguiling display, a mere taste, an invitation to embrace the challenge once more.
I'll be able to, because the second I hop out of the car, it will bolt. See, his tail's gone up?
Yeah. There's another one. There. Oh, yep, they're gone.
So that's the fawn, and that's the mum behind. See what she's doing with her neck?
Yeah.
It's classic Sambar behaviour. She's trying to figure out what you are.
Wow.
And the second that we open the door, she'll be gone. So she wants to go. See the tail's up again?
Yeah. Oh, it's so hard to get good with this window. Right,
that's right, they're going anyway.
Yeah. Well, captured something.
Of all the senses that give deer an advantage in the dance between predator and prey, a wise man would bet that it's their powerful sense of smell that set the odds of survival in their favour. Deer have an excellent sense of smell, which they rely heavily upon for detecting predators, finding food, and identifying other deer. Studies have even suggested that deer can detect scents from distances ranging from over 100 metres to over 2 kilometres, depending on the factors such as wind conditions, terrain, and the strength of the odour. Now, when you're planning your hunt, it's important that you take into consideration the direction that you think the wind will be blowing in. But planning can only take you so far. When you arrive at your location and the wind is doing something different, the prudent hunter will always change their plans.
Harley, on your right, there's a small group of does just beyond that stump.
Now, Colm's friend Harley, who was also tagging along on the hunt, hadn't had the opportunity to hunt deer in over 12 months due to the birth of his first child. Congratulations, Harley. So we'd organised in advance that he would take the first shot opportunity. This kind of pre-planning is essential when you're hunting in a large group. The last thing you want to do is lose an opportunity to take a shot because either everyone is too polite or the opposite, no one can agree on who will go first. Harley, there's a wombat sitting right below where you're shooting. Oh, there he goes. That's crazy.
Through the shoulder.
No exit, mate.
Perfect, mate. Yeah, really nice.
Must have been lung if she's bleeding out her mouth, I guess.
She was in trouble early.
She'd only be 3-year-old.
Now, I love hunting with Colm. He's a cheerful chap, he's optimistic, he's fun to be around, he sells a fantastic hunting e-bike product, but sometimes I can't understand a word that comes out of his mouth.
She got one for your twice, didn't she?
Yeah, she was in trouble early.
You might take a bit of bone there too, I'd say. What?
You can cover that.
Yeah, it does have a hook on it, doesn't it?
deer up here seem to wear their front teeth out a lot more than different areas of Tassie for some reason.
Yeah, so they've still got the dots on them.
Yeah.
It's totally weird.
Now it was time to skin the deer, and I can tell you I've seen deer skinned 100 different ways by 100 different hunters who will all tell you that their method is the best. But I tell you what, Tom's method that utilizes a kneading and massaging force-based approach to separate the skin from the meat is one of the fastest and most efficient I've seen. If you're ever in Tasmania and you want to be shown how to skin a fallow deer in less than 5 minutes with zero flesh left on the hide, seek out Tom from Hunting Tasmania. He can teach you a thing or two. So over the last couple of weeks, I've had a bunch of people ask me about this bit of gear that's on the bottom of my rifle. And I figured while the boys are having a conversation about what we do next, I have a few minutes to spare in this hunt, I'll put this down. I'll take a few seconds to tell you all about it. So essentially what it is, it's a monopod shooting stick with a bipod base. It's manufactured by a brilliant Australian hunting company called SmartRest, and it's a tool that's designed to increase your accuracy and the stability of your shot while you're shooting out there in the bush. What I love about it is that it supports 5 different shooting positions. So you can shoot laying prone on the ground, or from a seated position, from a kneeling position, from a standing position with the bipod braced up against your hip, or shoot from a standing position with the stick touching all the way to the ground. Once you've finished taking your shot, or if you need to reposition quickly, it's a quick action to snap the Hyperpod 2 back underneath the rifle, sling over the shoulder, and then off you go. Or alternatively, you can detach the Hyperpod 2 from the unit itself and use it as a walking stick. Or if you want another combination again, you can attach the bipod and mount that to the Picatinny rail to shoot prone. Now, you're not always in a position in the bush to find the ideal object to rest up against to improve the accuracy of your rifle, and sometimes you don't want to reposition because that will startle the animal. Well, this bit of kit solves that problem. It allows you to shoot anywhere, anytime, in any condition. And the best news is that Australian Hunters Club members get a discount when you purchase it from the Eagle Eye Hunting Gear website. So that's another great reason to join the club. Anyway, I think the guys have finished chatting. We better get off and continue the hunt. Let's go. With one deer down and the golden hunting hours of the post-dawn period spent, we decided to move into the denser wooded areas, knowing that the deer would be doing the same thing. Now, in conditions like this, when the wind is pounding, you'll often find that the fallow deer will prefer to bed down in feeder gullies, which offer them protection from the wind and other elements. The dense vegetation not only conceals the deer, but also acts as an insulation, helping the deer conserve their body heat during the cold weather. Unfortunately, these gullies are tight and make sneaking up on a deer that much harder, especially when the wind is still swirly. Now, after a few failed attempts, we decided to head back to the trucks and break for lunch. On the way to the trucks though, we did see this beautiful mental-coloured fallow buck. He got a pass though. This trip was about meat, not trophies. Maybe next time.
I'm an ethical farmer, you see. I get around my property on an electric bike, John Deere's. They tear up your paddocks, the cows get toot all over them when you rev the engine, and what electric bike? You talk to Eeyore Coleman, an Irish fella. All right, see you later.
Alright, so here's a quick tip for the savvy outdoorsman. If you ever find yourself out in the bush on a windy day like this, in need of a fire to cook on, the stump of a tree that's been cut down is the perfect fire pit to build your fire in. It not only shields your fire from the wind, but it also acts as the fuel to burn the fire. How good's that? Now here's a situation where a strong wind can actually work in your favour as a hunter. While we were cooking our food, I noticed there was a wombat not too far from us. The wind was blowing hard towards us in our face, and the wombat was busy feeding. Now, without the wind to send our scent towards him, I was able to get close to him, like really close. This is a trick that you can use to your advantage when you're hunting if the conditions are right. And while we're on the topic of wombats, let me clear something up. It's not uncommon for new Australian hunters to mistake wombat scat for deer scat. Here's the difference. Wombat scat is large and cubic in shape. This ensures that the poo doesn't roll down hills. Now this is important because wombats are highly territorial and they use their poo to mark their territories. Now deer scat, on the other hand, is smaller in size but larger in quantity and resembles a pill-like shape. So hopefully that helps. With our bellies full, we packed up the bikes and our cooking equipment, ensured that the stump fire was well and truly out, which is really important to do in order to prevent ground fires, and headed out in the bush to continue hunting.
So I've got 2 bucks just over here, 50 metres away. I'm going to try and sneak up on them, get you on camera.
That was fun.
So with that adrenaline-filled moment out of the way, before we go any further, I want to stop and invite you to join like me as a member of the Australian Hunters Club. We are one of Australia's fastest growing hunting clubs with members in every state and territory. Through our club, you can go on the draw to win professional hunts and hunting gear every month, find and connect with other local members through our brand new members directory, attend events, join other members on their planned hunts, even get discounts on leading hunting brands and online Australian hunting stores. You can, like me, join as a member or learn more by heading over to australianhunters.com.au. Then you can come back and watch the rest of the video. With the sun setting and our hunting window closed, we decided to call it a day and head back to camp to rest up. Given both Harley and Colm both had shots on deer that day, the next morning Tom and I decided to head out by ourselves, and rather than narrate what happened, I think I'll let the footage speak for itself this time.
You want to go home? 103.
Yeah, the one broadside now walking. 230. Yeah. Alright. That hit. It's good, it's good.
Stuff.
Thank you. That was good. That was sick. Thank you so much.
This is why I love hunting. Personally, it doesn't matter if I have a large buck or a doe in my sights, I still get nervous every time I get ready to take a shot, and a thrill every time I pull the trigger. If all you're looking for while hunting is the biggest trophy you can find, you are robbing yourself of the bounty nature has to offer, as well as the important responsibility every predator has to maintain the balance of the ecosystem. We continued hunting the rest of the day through the wind and the rain, and in the last few minutes of daylight, thanks to Tom's keen eyesight, Harley once again managed to make up for his 12-month hunting lull by shooting a beautiful black fallow spiker. Now, it's worth noting that shooting spikers is typically prohibited in Tasmania, but hunting in this particular location is one of the rare exceptions to this rule. The reason behind this restriction is to ensure that spikers have every opportunity to grow into healthy bucks for future buck hunting seasons. And considering hunters in Tasmania are only allowed to shoot 1 buck per year, this gives hunters the best chance of getting the best buck.
Look at his ears. He's been in the wars.
Yeah, he's been battling already.
He's been fighting. Split ears.
Fight again, really.
No, he fought his last battle.
We're still here.
Hunting in the wind is no easy feat. The gusts, relentless and unpredictable, create obstacles at every turn, but the determined hunter perseveres, finding a way to overcome these challenges. It's funny, in some ways the wind is the perfect embodiment of the hurdles we face as hunters. Its presence whispers doubts and tests our chances of success, yet deep within us, we feel a primal connection to hunting, an age-old tradition that binds us to the natural world. This bond fuels our determination to press forward, undeterred by the cutting gusts. Confronting the wind's assault, we acknowledge the delicate balance between hunter and hunted. It demands our respect and an understanding of our place within the intricate web of life. Hunting goes beyond trophies. It embodies a profound appreciation for the cycle of existence and the responsible use of our environment. In this battle against the wind, patience becomes your ally. You adapt your strategies, attuning your senses to decipher its shifts. Every gust becomes a clue, guiding your steps and aiding you in understanding the intentions of your prey. With heightened awareness, you navigate the dance between predator and prey, knowing that your choices can determine the success or failure. Beyond the thrill and sharpening of skills, hunting humbles us. Taking an animal's life comes with great responsibility. We recognize the weight of this act, appreciating the sacrifice made for our sustenance. Gratitude fills us, harkening back to a time when our survival depended on these endeavours and each kill was treated with the utmost reverence. I'm convinced, in a world where our connection to nature weakens, hunting provides a pathway back to our primal roots. It teaches us patience, respect, and responsible stewardship. It allows us to witness the raw beauty of the wilderness, reminding us of our duty to preserve it. Whether pursuing a majestic buck or a graceful doe, each trigger pull reminds us of the intrinsic value of hunting and the delicate balance of life it represents. This time, despite the wind's challenges, we pushed forward undeterred, and our perseverance paid off as we filled our freezers with the rewards of our hunt. It signifies not just our ability to overcome adversity, but also our unwavering spirit as hunters. My hope too is that when you face the wind's resistance, you find a way to embrace your primal instincts, connect with nature, and find a way to provide sustenance both for yourself and your family.
Right, gonna help. Work me through this contraption.
Oh, we're in trouble.
This is. I have no idea what you got going on here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I know. Figure that goes in there. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Safety.
And the bullet comes out that end.
That end? Yeah. And it's sighted in at 100?
Yeah.
And what's that? That's like what?
That's about 100. So you're right on.
Right on. Okay. So if I miss it, there's something wrong with me. Okay, ready? Shooting. Nice shot. Did I hit it?
Yeah, it's swinging.
The pressure's off, mate.
Yeah.
First shot. I was saying this to KC. I tell everyone that I meet I'm a terrible shot.
Yeah.
Just so that the pressure's off.
I clean missed a zebra twice at 70 metres. Right, I just put my strap over the top and I come down like that.
Oh yeah.
And I hold my strap.
Give it some tension.
And I hold down on it. Like, you're not going to hold it perfectly still.
Mm-hmm.
So I just come up onto the target, and when I get to where I want to be, I squeeze the trigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good advice, thank you.
But I did miss a zebra twice.
I love the cabbage.
The greatest somebody saying.
I think that did it.
Yeah, I did it.
Might send one more just to make sure it wasn't a fluke. It's a miss, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a miss. What were you aiming for then?
Oh, I saw something moving in the background there, and
I think you were down to the left.
yeah, no, I pulled that one for sure. All right. Good work. If I had missed that one, I reckon I might have called it back.
Yeah. So just empty him. I'll show you another little technique.
Yeah, I was praying for you, Casey.
I don't want to have to side it or run. Yeah, no, just close him up. But if we have to take a long shot,
yep.
Like if you rest up there,
that one's clear. Yep. As I was before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come in like this, all right, and you put that on my shoulder.
Oh yeah. That's a big difference. Yeah, right. Okay. That's good. I've never seen anyone do that.
Yeah.
I've seen someone shoot off someone's shoulder, but never off that. That's great.
Yeah.
So what did you put one hand here?
One hand here, one on his waist.
And then kind of just like that. Yeah. So I'll be leaning on you.
Yep.
Actually, that's pretty good. I never thought about it. That's
Now,
great.
I can't overemphasize how important it is to regularly clean your firearms in order to keep them in good condition shooting straight. 2 out of 3 shots at the range is okay, 3 out of 3 is better. When you pull that trigger, you want to have absolute confidence that your bullet is going to hit exactly where you want it to go. There are enough variables in hunting working against you. A wise hunter reduces as many of those variables as possible. One way to do this is to clean your rifle regularly. One of the products I personally use is the Cleanse Oil Universal Field Kit. This kit comes with all the brushes, rods and tools you'll need to service just about any caliber, from 22s all the way up to 45 cals, 12 and 16 gauge shotguns included. It all comes in a tight little bundle, making it easy to take with you on your hunting trips or store in your hunting storage box. And if you're interested in picking one up, you can check out Eagle Eye Hunting Gear's website. Members of the Australian Hunters Club also get 10% off, so stop wasting your money and become a member. You can get heaps of other discounts too.
The biggest thing about being what I think is a good hunter is not having to shoot the animal.
Yeah.
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 So it's actually I might have had this conversation with you. My least favourite part of hunting is actually killing the animal. Yeah. I love hunting.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Now that we were confident in the performance of our rifles, and just as importantly, Brad was confident in our shooting abilities, we packed up the firearms into the buggy and set off to our hunting location. Now, after a few hours of walking through the long grass, we came across a sizable herd of red deer making their way along a ridgeline. In that herd, there were a few healthy spikers, and so the stage was set. It was time for KC to take the leading role.
In the middle.
Yeah, he was right in there, in the middle there. Must have pulled it perhaps. Yeah, I think I have. Looks like it was a clean miss. Can't believe I'm saying that on tape. As soon as I took the shot though, I realised that I pulled it to the left, or felt that I pulled it to the left. So it was looking at us, wasn't broadside, it was looking at us and then turned on its quarter, took a shot. And as soon as I took it, I knew that, yeah, pulled it to the left. So it looks like it's clean missed. You can't help but rock the ego, can you? You just, yeah, it hurts the ego, that's for sure, but hopefully the second one puts it down.
With Casey's confidence rattled and the sighting of another group of deer, I opted to stay back this time with the camera in order to give Casey the best possible chance at getting a good shot. When you're hunting in a group, the fewer people you can have in the stalk, the better your chances are of not being spotted. It's amazing. Moments like this can be just as intense and nerve-wracking for the observer as it is for the shooter, especially when they're your friend. All you want is for your mate to have success, to overcome the odds and break through the barriers within themselves, for them to reach down inside and find that deep-rooted drive required to break through, whatever that is.
Thanks, mate. That was awesome. I can feel my heart in my bloody chest. Redemption feels amazing when you got people that have patience around you. No, that was worth it. Thank you again.
Well done, mate.
Chris, mate, I wanted to say thanks very much for bringing me with you. This was your journey and you brought me with you.
No, my pleasure,
and
mate.
we've spoken about this. This deer is not just this is not just any random deer for me. This is a big milestone. Having moved over recently and meeting new people and joining the club, and the club brought me into as a friend. And so this is really it's the culmination of meeting new people welcoming me in, and being able to do something like this I haven't been able to do before. So this is a really big thing for me. So the club is, this is something for the club, not just me, to be honest here. This is, I think, worthy of the club.
Oh, you know what? I actually think is this actual animal like demonstrates like your character and your journey, in that like you had a shot, didn't work out, and because of the gun, not because of you, right?
No, it's all me.
Yeah, no, but like you persevered, and like when you joined the club, the first thing that you did was try and connect with people. You hosted an event, you met some people, and then things happened. Then we had that hunt that we had to give away to someone in Queensland because someone in Victoria couldn't do it, and I thought, well, who's doing stuff in the club? Who's making an effort? And you were that guy. Memory is a curious thing. It ebbs and flows, shaping our lives in unpredictable ways. As hunters, we create memories with every game trail we walk, every scent we catch, every shot we take, and every shot we miss. Today is a day I'm hoping will become one of those fond memories. Recently, Brad has been picking up a beautiful red stag on one of his game cameras, who's been moving through the area regularly. The last time Brad saw him on camera was a couple of weeks ago, so we're hoping he's still around. We've got access to about 12,000 acres of trap rock country, filled with eucalyptus, acacia, oak, tea trees and cypress pines, so there's plenty of places he could be hiding. The goal today is to canvass some of the feeder gullies with the hope of finding him, or at least finding some clues to where he might be.
Could you smell it? You smell something dead. Yeah, there's a dead animal somewhere around here. Yeah, I smelled it more when I was there too.
Been dead a while.
Yeah. Pretty hard to tell what did it.
Definitely been fed on there. Had its throat torn out.
Yeah, but pigs or anything would have been having a go at it.
So where the dirt's been displaced. Big activity. That's more pig sign. You got pig sign here, and then you've also got pig sign a little bit further up, down there. They're moving down the bank, and even over here, pig sign just there.
What? Not hungry? It was pretty clear there were plenty of animals around, even red deer, but there was no sign of our stag. It's almost like there's this secret law written to the universe that whenever you're hunting deer, all you seem to find are pigs. When you're searching for pigs, you only find goats. Or there are those times when you're on a mission to fill the freezer with a nice yearling or a meat doe, and yet that's the time when you'll spot that once in a lifetime stag. Now, the upside is that when you're focused on getting a specific animal, you can then just enjoy watching and experiencing everything else that crosses your path without the pressure of needing to pull the trigger. In fact, some of my favourite hunting experiences have had nothing to do with hunting at all.
I'm trying to get Casey to smell him, but I think he's on Panadol, and I reckon the second that we went over that rise, I did a little faint bit, and then I was like, I think I smell okay. How would you describe it? Musky. If you opened up a wardrobe of old clothes.
You're talking about like mothballs?
Kind of, yeah.
Because that's what it is. The wind's perfect for us.
Yeah.
So where we've been seeing this fella stuff over here, we've still got a little way to go.
Like if you opened an old lady's wardrobe and you got like she had dresses in there from like the 30s, and you went, that's what they smell like. Okay. Like that dusty, musty kind of mothballs.
As the evening sun started to set below the horizon, we got lucky and made a discovery that gave me hope. Right on the fringe of the last feeder gully, we discovered a rub tree. Given the red hinds we'd already seen in the area and how fresh these scrapings were, it was fairly likely that this rub was made by our stag. Given this particular rub was also snapped in half, this tells us that this particular stag is at least a double 5, given that he would need to have used this configuration of tines to snap the sapling. Another good indicator that this was made by our guy and that he's close by. With the sun almost set, it was too late to go after him now, so we marked down the rub's location, hiked back to the buggy and made our way back to the homestead with the aim to pick up the stag's trail first thing tomorrow morning. Now, quick aside, if you think maybe you'd like to come to Nyora to hunt with Beretta Australia, maybe you should consider joining as a member of the Australian Hunters Club. In fact, let's skip the maybe. I want to personally invite you to join, like me, as a member of the club. By being a member, you can get discounts on Australian guided hunts, including hunts with Havergo. You can even win this hunt. We give away professionally guided hunts as well as products every single month. Members host hunts, run events, we have an epic annual camp every year. You can even connect with other members in your region via our online members directory. To learn more or sign up, head over to australianhunters.com.au and hopefully I see you at an event soon. The dawn of the next day was filled with anticipation. We knew where this stag was. Now it's just a matter of closing the gap. Now, unfortunately, the previous night, in a moment of vulnerability, I confided in Brad that I wasn't used to using a leather sling on my rifle. So being the good host that he is, he felt the need to offer me a comfortable alternative.
Come here.
I politely declined. Now, here's a situation that you don't want to find yourself in. You quietly walk into your hunting area only to be confronted with a herd of water buffalo. The buffalo in and of themselves aren't a major threat. If you don't threaten them, they won't threaten you for the most part. The issue is that this particular herd was at the top of the feeder gully where we'd found the rub last night, and the only place for them to go to escape was right back through it. The second that the herd spooked and charged into the basin of the gully, both Brad and I knew that we just broadcast our location to every deer in a 1 kilometre radius. In the unlikely event that our stag was still in that basin, he would be on high alert and would know exactly where we were. While deer might not have the greatest long-term memory, they more than make up for it with a heightened flight instinct. The instant they sense trouble, they are gone. Now, sure enough, the deer was spooked. The herd was on the move, and every other deer that hadn't bolted had their eyes firmly fixed on where we hoped to make our approach. Our only saving grace was that we did manage to catch the briefest glimpse of our red stag as he moved further up the gully. We quickly changed plans, with Brad opting to stay behind and make sure the stag didn't double back, while Casey and I would cross the head of the gully and attempt an approach from the other side where we wouldn't be expected.
So I reckon if we go up and over this rise, that next section down there looks really good. There's a bit of water in there. I have a feeling if we slow down at this point and just do a crawl, slowly make our way through this kind of light scrub,
come up through here,
up over here and wait. The wind's pretty good at the moment. It's like kind of in our face.
Us, yeah.
Yeah, so if we just like slow down from this point, really slow down and just curl up over that rise, have a bit of a glass and spend a few minutes doing that, and then hopefully something will pop out. And if it does, we'll be in a position to shoot. So,
all right, no, that sounds good.
Half the speed you'll want to go, and then end.
Halve again.
Let's go. There he is. Down. But he's covered by that tree.
Have you got a, like how far is he? Give you a range on it?
He's 160.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable taking it from here?
I do. We have the shooting sticks, but the wind's in our favour right now. And he's just standing there. I reckon we could just sit tight. I guess I'm just worried. There's all those other does, and we don't know how many more are around here. All those eyeballs looking at us. If we try and get closer, we risk getting spotted and spooking.
You spook them all.
Yeah, and he's not moving. I can't shoot him from here. But
could either wait it out or this tree sort of just in front of us.
Yeah.
Push forward through there, I'll follow behind you, get to that one there. See if you can pick him off from either a better angle, just a closer shot.
Yeah, that's good. That's 20 metres. That's not too far.
That's 140.
Yeah, 140. Yeah, look, I think we should do that. Yeah. Let's just move really slow.
That was good shooting, mate.
That's
a good stalk.
That was a great stalk.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I hit him.
Yeah, no.
The adrenaline.
Yeah.
It was so full on, I didn't hear the thud. You go through this whole process of like the stalk, the setup, and then you're like, is the camera rolling, your audio levels, can you see him, can I see him, can we all see him? All right, firing, and then you forget, oh, I need to fire now. Like, I need to like hit it, and I need to like hit it well. And there was a moment where I could feel your tension, and I just let it out, and I was like, okay, now we're good. I'm done, That was awesome, that was awesome. Let's go grab him, man. Perfect shot. These are the moments I live for, the memories I work hard to create. Hard-won victories that yield a bounty of experience, friendship, food, and hopefully wisdom. You see, life moves on at its own pace, whether you're intentional about creating memories along the way or not. You can live by the status quo, repeating your days like a skipped record, or you can break the cycle and throw yourself into a life of adventure. Unlike many countries, we are fortunate here in Australia to have amazing hunting opportunities. In New South Wales and Victoria alone, there are over 12 million acres of glorious bushland you can explore and hunt tomorrow to make those memories. To fill your freezers, feed your family, push your body and expand your mind. The opportunities are there, ready to be taken. Don't waste your life regretting lost time and adventures. Guillaume Apollinaire, French poet, said the following: "Let pass on, since it all passes on. I will turn back often. Memories are hunting horns whose sounds die out along the wind." I hope the wind calls forth adventures for you. So we're going to go back cooking this red deer now, and what I want to do is actually create a venison marinade. So marinating is a great process to undergo for meat because it helps both tenderize it, preserve it, it adds extra flavor. This is a beautiful piece of this red stag right here. The process of marinating meat actually goes back to ancient times where they used to use brine-like liquids like seawater to both preserve and add flavor and break down that meat, make it more tender. That's why the word marinade is taken from the root Latin word marinata, which means out of the sea. We'll go about cutting this up and then we'll go through the process of adding in our marinade, mixing it all together, and then we can cook it on the open fire. So I'm gonna make my incisions about 2-3 centimeters. You don't want it too thick, but you also don't want it too thin. Getting those medallions just perfect. So with our steaks cut, we'll now put these aside and work on our marinade. So what we're going to need for our marinade is 1 cup of mild olive oil. We're going to then add 3/4 of a cup of soya sauce, 100 ml of red wine vinegar, some freshly squeezed lemon juice from our lemon tree, 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce, 2 garlic cloves that have been peeled and crushed, also from my garden, 2 tablespoons of dried mustard powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, some black pepper. Throw it all in a bowl, give it a good mix, and then add in our meat cuts. All right, so that's the marinade done. Now, like I said before, what you want to do is cover this in Glad wrap and put it in the fridge for about 8 hours. Luckily, I've come prepared, and this is one that I did yesterday. So we're now going to put this on the fire, cook up some lunch. You want to have it on a high heat. You don't want to cook it for very long, 1 to 2 minutes, kind of maximum, because it is a very lean meat, deer. So we'll use a little bit of the marinade just to put on top and drop our meat on. This is really good. It's kind of got that Worcestershire sauce. It's kind of a little bit Asian cuisine, but meaty meat flavor. Plus the salt as well. That really cuts through. I really like it. If you enjoy watching season 1 of The Huntsman, you're in for a treat. Season 2 is ready and waiting for you. Everything is bigger in season 2. Bigger kills, more guests, and tastier food. So get comfy on your couch, snuggle into your bed, prolong your time on the toilet or wherever you're doing, no judgment, and click on the link above or below in the description to start watching season 2. You're not gonna regret it, guarantee ya.